And now to discuss this, we're joined by Head Fixed Income and FX, Chapel Hill Denham Securities, none other than Oladipo Ajayi. Oladipo, it's good to have you join us. I mean, let's get started. Looking at the projected bill revenue target, more like for 2025, how realistic would you say 34.8 trillion naira revenue target is it realistic, and what strategies can the government employ to meet this target?
Well, firstly, I think it's a tall order because my view is premised on where we were currently, what we did currently this year. This current year is a budget of about 28 trillion, and we have a projection of about 18 to 19 trillion as in form of revenue for the year, and I'm not sure we have done extraordinarily well in that regard. So when you now want to actually input that into year 2025, I think that budget is actually a tall order, but it's not something that is not impossible, but just that the government need to actually cover a lot of ground around it. And when I saw the daily oil production at over 2 million barrels per day, it makes a lot of sense to me because it simply means that we are around about 1.8 million barrels per day now, and we're able to actually move to around 2 million barrels. It simply means that we'll actually be able to actually cover ground in that regard. And secondly, in terms of tax revenue, currently the government is trying to actually pass the tax reform bill. I feel that if this is actually go through the House and is successfully passed by the National Assembly, I think the better side of this reform is that it will further improve the revenue generating capacity of the government. It will somehow, one way or the other, be able to bring a lot of people into the tax bracket. And sincerely, the tax reform bill is not to burden Nigeria, but to just find a way to actually expand the tax net, which will actually bring a lot more people into tax bracket. So when you sum all together, it looks like something that is possible, but I feel that it's a tall order that the government needs to do more to actually achieve this lofty revenue value.
My final question for you before I let you go, and it's pretty much about our debt servicing, with 15.81 trillion naira allocated for debt servicing with the 2025 budget. How sustainable is Nigeria's current debt profile in the context of economic growth for the country?
Well, I think our debt sustainability is actually getting to a level where we need to be very, very cautious. When you are using close to about 30% of your budget to actually service debt, it calls to question that what other aspects do you actually have to actually develop your economy. And don't also forget, aside the fact that we are servicing debt with that humongous value, we also still borrowing because we are still running a deficit budget. It simply means that by next year, there's every tendency that our cost of servicing debt will further go far higher than what we are currently doing this year. So, Michael, it's a great concern for me. I understand the fact that you need to borrow for you to actually develop your economy. But I think we are actually throwing caution to the winds. And aside that also, and I think that the aggressive borrowing spree for this year is having huge impact on our borrowing capacity. Currently, when you look at the rates of borrowing in Nigeria as you speak, when government is coming to market to borrow for a year, the government pay as much as about 29 to 30% to actually borrow from in an economy like ours in the year currently, just because of the current economic conditions. And what this means is that also when government is borrowing in this way, what do you expect will happen to corporate organizations as well that is looking to actually come to the capital market to actually raise funds? So I think that the government needs to find a way. They need to be more innovative around this. I think there are other ways to actually go to actually fund infrastructural development. There's a lot of PPP programs that the government can actually embark on, where actually they partner with all the other private institutions. There are international financial institutions that will gladly partner with government around infrastructural developments. So government needs to find more innovative ways to actually go around this and continue in their development spree without continuing to actually go into the capital market to borrow. Because I think as we speak, our debt to GDP is currently over 50%. And this is a country that actually has this as one of these boasting indices where you will say that our debt to GDP ratio is less than 20%. But now our debt to GDP ratio is over 50% because of our current borrowing spree. So I think the government needs to look at something that will find a way around this and actually minimize the borrowing spree for the year 2025.
Oladipo, I must say thank you so much for taking out the time to join us for this conversation. Once again, thank you. Oladipo Ajayi is the head fixed income FX Chapel Hill Denham Securities, talking to us about the proposed 2025 budget presented by President Tinubu on the floor of the NAS. Once again, thank you.
You're most welcome. Thank you very much for having me.